Hello, I wanted to hop back on again and give a reading for January because this is probably the most powerful month of the year in 2020 as far as just having one thing after another hit at us. My name's Elizabeth DeVries. I have a website called angelicmercy.com, and if you wish to call me for a metaphysical reading, a mediumship reading where you have lost someone in your family you'd like to make contact, or an astrological reading where I look at your natal chart, your progress chart, what's affecting you in the heavens right now, and the solar return chart, which is the chart which it happens each year on your birthday, to see the influences of energy on the actual day of your birth. You can contact me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com, and I would be glad to book a reading for you. I also work for 25 years as a dual Reiki master in the Asui and Karuna methods of Reiki. I teach Reiki. I work as an energetic healer using color, crystals, the energy of divinity. And I've done a lot of work with hospice. I've done a lot of work with cancer patients, with animals, gone to vet offices, and we actually had one dog that became the miracle dog of the month through getting Reiki every single day when he had a 20% chance of surviving. I adore to work with animals. I've worked with animals all my life, for many, many years, since age 5 until age 45. I trained horses with my beautiful daughter, and we took abused horses that people were having problems with, and we would turn them out in the fields, let them roam, and we would give them Reiki, and we would touch them and speak with them gently. And I never called us horse whisperers. We always called ourselves horse listeners, because we really were listening to their background, to what they've been through, to their motivations, to what frightened them. So I adore the animal work, the healing work, as much as I do the individual readings. I do readings all over the world. I do readings in every country. You can call me long distance. I don't have to be beside you. One lady had 4 adopted dogs in New York, and she called me, and we did 15 minutes on each dog, and as each dog was receiving his or her reading, it would come and sit beside her and poke her with the nose or the paw. It knew that it was getting reading. It was really sweet. I also do long distance healings. The other thing that I do at least 2 hours of my day is what I call photographic art. And if you would like to visit my website, Eliza DeVries, that's DEVRIES studio.com, you will see my artwork there. It is very mystical. I take thousands of pictures of the flowers, and then I work with them creatively, and they become something entirely different, something very out of this world, leading you into other realms. And they're very healing. A lot of people put them over altars or just have them to beautify their home. So I wanted to today use the tarot cards as a means of communication from the inner realms. And I wanted to choose, first of all, one card that would be specifically for 2020. What is the main energy or transmutation that we go through in this year? because right now it feels pretty damn tough, and just every day another bombastic incident occurring. So let's just take a look at that. So 2 cards came out. The first card that came out was the 9 of Wands. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can. And this is a card of somebody that's been through the wars. They are in a defensive mode. They're feeling battle weary. They've got a bunch of wands behind them. They're on a little bit higher ground, but they're holding the wand in front of themselves, basically as a feeling in a defensive mode, which I think 2019, we just thought every day, what's going to come next? What's going to come next? And we felt kind of battered like this card. And we felt that we weren't going to get through it, that it was just an endless, exhausting journey through our own inner battles being expressed often in the outer world. And everywhere we looked, people were in a state of polarity, arguing, hyper political, aggressive, nobody really listening. When you're in a defensive mode, you're not really listening, you're thinking more of protecting yourself. So you've got that wand up in front of you, and this fellow, he's exhausted, he's tired, he's worn out. So that was how we entered the year. Let's see what the year is going to be like. That was our entry into 2020. And we did kind of come in that way, because right away we were dealing with the impeachment of the president and the battle going on between Congress and the Senate. Just in our country, in Australia, they were dealing with absolutely exhausting, horrible fires everywhere, killing 500,000 creatures, and people losing their homes and ending up on beaches. And if we went to Syria, we left the Kurds in the wake and got into battles with Turkey. And in England, they're going through their own trauma. And then, of course, Iran, which erupted a few days ago. So January, really, we did enter the year feeling, what's coming next? Do we have to protect ourselves? How are we going to get through this? Now, the point of my readings, or the point of my sharing from my heart with you, is not to bring you to a deeper place of isolation, desolation, or separation. We are all part of this human body, and we're here to understand that oneness and to understand that the divine God force animates all of life, from the tiniest atom to the biggest elephant or whale. Everything is animated by the life force of the chi, the divine energy of God. And when we leave our form, that chi gathers together and the silver cord is cut, and there we are in another realm. We have not died, we have changed form. I do a lot of mediumship work, a lot of work where people tell me what it's like over there. I've had 3 different mates die very suddenly, so that prompted me and pulled me into wanting to make communication with them. That is actually how I initially became a medium. Then when my daughter passed, I passionately, as a mother, wanted to be connected to her. So I was even more focused on making connection to the other side. So she often joins me in the mediumship readings. Say you had somebody in your family pass, she will come in and help me with my readings and help me with the people that are over there and what's going on over there and what it's like over there. It's quite fascinating. And each person has a different death and a different rebirth. So another thing I do is what I call the rebirth chart, because we die to the spirit world when we take on our form. And we have an astrological chart at that moment of the first breath. We also have an astrological chart on the moment of the last breath, when we change form again. We don't die, we change form again. So by looking at what I call the death to this form chart, one can see why the soul chose to die in that day, in that moment, with what purpose. And it also shows a lot about their rebirth and about what they're doing over there. It's very fascinating. So I'm going to now choose the gift of this year. What is the gift of this year? What is the lesson of this year? Is it a challenge? Is it a gift? What is it? This is for humanity. It's not for the United States, it's not for me, it's for all of us. Humanity. So, the card that I got is the card of the Emperor. He's a powerful soul. He's sitting on his throne. He's grounded in who he is. He is attached and connected to the earth. So this person is of the earth. This person is strong. We are to become this year gathering, understanding, and standing in the center of our own unique expression of being, our own unique strength. And because he is of the earth, I feel there's a lot that we will turn our focus to about the earth, about earth changes, there's going to be a lot about the earth this year and what's going on in the earth and climate change. And we are going to find our own grounded self. So we're no longer going to feel so buffeted about by the winds of change and the trauma of bullying leaders or corruption. We are going to say, these are my values. This is my core essence. And this is why I'm here, to find my own core strength and to express my gifts in this world coming from that strength. So it's a shift from the one we saw before of the being standing there completely defensive, shaken, exhausted, tired. This year we find who we are. We seek out who we are, we find who we are, and we gather that unto ourselves. And the interesting thing about this year is we end the year in December on the solstice with Jupiter moving into Aquarius, which is like that whole unity, oneness, conjuncting, what else is in Aquarius at that time? Oh, Saturn. So Saturn and Jupiter, who get along, in Aquarius. So our karmic focus by the end of this next year will be on unity. This will be our gift. Let's look at January. What is going on? What is going to go on in January? So we're already through the first week. We already know what the first week's been. Let's look at the next week. We've got that lunar eclipse coming up on the 10th. And then on the 12th, we have that once in 500 years conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn with Mercury in there too. So there's a lot of dynamic, still testy, anxious, fiery. Mercury is kind of a agitator. Mercury is not always to be trusted. So issues or situations communication-wise, there could be a lot that's coming up over the next week about communication. But let's see what I get here. This is for the next week, so that's taking it from the 8th to the 15th. Well, I would take these two cards together. This is the card of getting clarity, figuring out who's telling the truth, who's lying, what the heck is going on, becoming more perceptive, not listening to the stories that are told and retold, but cutting through the nonsense and getting to the core. And part of what we're getting clarity about is our own happiness, how to achieve our own happiness, and how do we want this earth to be. And so there's a sense of definition coming up of what is the ideal that we're really looking for. We've been so distracted away from our value systems and our sense of security within the family or within our friendships or within the groups we belong to. So next week, it's not that we're going to achieve it next week, but we're going to get a lot of perception about what it is we want and what we don't want. And I feel with that Page of Swords there, cutting through the nonsense, that we're going to cut away the false idealism that we have and get to the core of the truth. Some kind of truth is going to come out next week. What's that truth about? I asked what the truth is about, and I got the Empress. When I look at this card, I see a woman. She's connected to the Emperor, who we got as our card for the year, of becoming more grounded and more. She's also extraordinarily connected to the earth. So my feeling is that during these intensified times, we really need to look out for ourselves. We really need to look out for our families. She's a motherly energy. She's a nurturing energy. And so I feel one of the keys to getting through this month will be not to become more abrasive or more attacking or critical, or he did this, he said that, and running people down, but more coming from a place of love and compassion. And I'm really encouraging people right now, I don't know where you live, but to go out and make connection with strangers, to go out and find ways to help the homeless or to help in a shelter, to do something from the heart that's deeply humanitarian, something loving, something kind, something that will forget whether the person's a Democrat, Republican, or whatever country you're in, the opposite set of ideals. Think more of that person, of the common heart bond that you have, that we're all human, that we're all going to go through this earth and lose people and go through rough challenges. Right now, people are going through a lot of individual challenges. So that development of divine compassion, which the Empress has, she's really connected to the earth. So she spends a lot of time in nature. She loves animals. She loves to help people. And she's like a big mother putting her arms out and all the chicks coming under her wings. So I would say the message in the third week is to be there for others, no matter who they are. Be there. Let's look at how January closes off. And we'll leave it at that. January closes off that we're really still juggling something in the Senate. We're seeking the truth. We're holding up a sword of truth. We want a new beginning. We want something new. We feel like we've been battered and pushed around and fallen off the wall like Humpty Dumpty, and we've been shattered, and we don't know yet how to quite reorganize our essence of being, but we know at some core level that we must rebuild from the inside out ourselves. And so there's going to be a balancing act in January between the extremities that we've gone through, starting the month with extreme fear and terror in the hearts of millions, to a state of what is the truth, and becoming more and more throughout the month defining what is the truth. And I think many of us really may want to seek a new way of living our lives, paring down, becoming more, a new form of life, a new opportunity, a new work, a new creative expression, a new way of giving to others, a new way of sharing. I think we need to share more what we have. We need to look around and find something utterly beautiful and give it to somebody that has nothing. Give some things that we treasure to someone that has very little, and feel the beauty of making things more balanced. Okay, I'm going to end there. I'm going to do some more readings this month on what's going on in the Senate, and more political readings and some more astrological readings. But today I wanted to just do more of an overview from a soul level of what the angelic hierarchy that is around the earth right now, what is it trying to say to us? And I feel if I was to encapsulate it, it's saying, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter how you're suffering, no matter what your experience, see the beauty, see the good, give, and give more. Give something you treasure, and most of all, give love, compassion, and listen to the heart of another. Thank you, God bless you, and may we all grow in our capacity to show mercy to each other and to grow in wisdom. Thank you.